Good evening, everyone. Greetings and love. This is Marcia with Gnoshery Libertas, and you are joining us a little late this evening for those on the live call after some technical issues for Sanctuary episode 53 on January 30th, 2023. And we're going to be talking a lot about the year, or as Spirit calls it, the frequency of 2023, which is all about revelation and sometimes not the most comfortable revelation. So this is revelations personally that are just going to kind of happen for us as epiphanies, but it's also collective revelations that will be coming up through the year. Now, we meet every Monday night at 7:30 Pacific time. If you'd ever like to join us for the live call, we'd love to have you. Or if you'd simply like to have the replay show up in your email every week, you can become a member of our private signal groups. And this is through actually either Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee. And this also gives you discounts toward the one-to-one private readings and mentorships as well. So that's patreon.com/Gnoshery Libertas or buymeacoffee.com/Gnoshery Cafe, or you can schedule one-to-one directly for readings and mentorships now through etsy.com/shop/Gnoshery Libertas. Now, before we move into the light transmission for the evening, just wanting to speak a little bit about the theme, which is underneath the couch cushions. And so Spirit is wanting to speak to all of the things that get unearthed. And I don't know, maybe you're a very clean person, and when you rip up your couch cushions, there's nothing there. And if you are, please email me. I would love to meet you and know who you are, because that sounds fantastic. But in my house, where there is a child and pets, there are all sorts of fun treasures that we find, and often long lost treasures underneath the couch cushions. And some from my family, although everyone has varying perspectives of this miraculous event, we even found Buffy the turtle after a long escape in the couch cushions underneath the couch cushions. So these are all about the revelations that come when we are willing to look in places that we might otherwise push away, hide, deny, or repress. And we're going to talk as well tonight about some of the supporting energies that are going to help us through this unearthing that is happening in 2023. So before I move into the first supporting energy for this transmission, I'm just going to take a moment to collect the energy from Spirit and be right back with you. So as we look under the couch cushions, this light transmission of revelation, of unearthing, we are also going to move into the supporting energies of why this is taking place. And the first is the search for truth. Why is this happening right now? And why is it so important that it is happening right now? It's also leading us into new projects and fertility and creativity and inspiration, all of the things that we are being called to create in this new earth. We're being called into the source of the soul, because this is where our authenticity and our freedom, the core of who we really are, can actually express itself. And once again, the sacred Earth Mother steps forward. She comes through every week in a different way. Last week, it was through the earth pulsing. And this week, it's all about destiny awaits, and this being the light at the end of the tunnel. So this very first supporting energy, this need for the search for truth. And Spirit says this is happening individually for us, but this is also happening for us as a whole, collectively, that we desire. We need to know at the core of who we are. We can no longer bury our heads in the sand. So this search for truth is happening simultaneously to these revelations and to this unearthing happening for the collective. There's also this need to really have a sense of the meaning of what is happening and why it's happening. And Spirit says we'll do this through the strength of conviction, which often happens when we really start following the weave and paying attention to how the interior realms of what we're experiencing coincide or are in synchronicity with what is happening in the external realm. And so the strength of our conviction and our virtue, this leads to an expansion of consciousness through the power of our faith. And some of the shadow energies that Spirit brings to light is this advocation of one's own ideas, but without a greater perspective for the whole. So having this, maybe big head or this grandiose idea of what one can accomplish without really setting sights on how is this actually best for everyone. And also within this shadow are hypocritical attitudes. So saying one thing and doing another, as well as intolerance, pretentiousness, and what Spirit called esoteric arrogance. So this, believing that we have spiritual authority over another, or that we simply, know it all more than another in some way. And Spirit says here the difference between knowing a lot and having the wisdom and awareness to use it for the good of others is this distinctive feature. So there are going to be important actions, Spirit said, of great significance happening this year, where we can almost see humanity change on a dime with the amount of what Spirit calls the quickening, or the responsible work that needs to take place within each and every soul. This is about integrity. This is about ethics. And this energy also speaks to being in training in some way or training someone else. So this could be in a physical material, setting like a profession, but this could also be training ourselves to simply be less reactive to some of the triggers that we have fallen prey to in our past, or being in training to guide our minds into a more positive alignment or equilibrium rather than falling into catastrophe consciousness. Spirit calls this higher education. And there was kind of a wink and a nod here that this is not necessarily about the higher education, like going to another college or taking another course. This is higher education. This is expanded consciousness. This is tuning into who we really are. And once again, having faith in our talents, gifts, and abilities. This is deep confidence that does not come from the ego self, but which comes from knowing that when we go to bed at night, that we have served the greater whole with our individual self. This leads to harmony, the flowering of love, and mature moral values, the awareness of the value and the importance of relationships in our lives. So this is all coming to the forefront, particularly this week, but also moving into this cycle of January through April that Spirit has been speaking to. The why is this happening? Well, the human desires deep, rich, meaningful experience. And we've been kind of coasting on this superficial, Instagram life for quite some time now. And it's not fulfilling. And so there's this meaningfulness of being that is desired, as well as a development of faith in God, because we're starting to realize that only God can fix some of the things that are happening in this external realm. We're expanding our horizons, and it's also leading to greater time of reflection and introspection. Now, the inverse of this energy, Spirit says, is that we may start to experience, or we may continue to have health problems, or we may kind of be in this space of in between or indecision, which is stemming from a lack of accountability or responsibility. So we are encouraged, pay attention to the signs along the way, and to really be with them, to sit with them, to feel into them before making our decisions. And soon the meaning of the purpose of where we are meant to go will become clear. Before I move into the next supporting energy, I'd like to open the floor for any perspectives that anyone would like to share. The next supporting energy of this year of revelation, of this unearthing, of that which has been hidden or unseen, is that it's going to actually allow many of us to step into new projects, projects that will finally be supported. And Spirit calls this from the origins of consciousness itself, that there is a hunger for wisdom and knowledge on this planet, that we are collectively figuring something out. And it's going to come from both compassionate but also reasonable intellectual decisions. The lyrics, the affirmation, all is cleared up and I really understand it. So one of those moments where all the dots are connected and we get that gagunk, as my friend used to call it, moment where it all aligns and we suddenly have that clear perspective of where we are and also where we're going. Professionally, Spirit says this is a time for inspiration, kind of the sharing or the tossing back and forth of new ideas, as well as viewing things from many different angles, the development of new projects kind of coming in from multiple directions. These are solutions to our professional problems. They come from our thoughtful decisions, and Spirit says this is a time of career planning. Within our personal relationships, this is also a time of problem solving where we can eliminate any misunderstandings and particularly um, reveal certain circumstances, Spirit said, that we're leading toward ambiguous decisions. So moving out of this ambiguous place into a clear perspective and important discoveries as well in the land of personal relationships. Spirit called this a crucial step on the path to our self-discovery. And the inverse of this energy of new projects is that we may have new problems or trouble, which is really just superimposed on old problems or trouble. And so to pay attention to that and to notice, like Spirit said last week, any self-sabotage or self-destructive habits, patterns, behaviors, situations, relationships, etc. We may notice a haziness or a lack of mental perception and a fear for the future or kind of a stagnation or a boredom. There's this loss of control over oneself, this feeling like I don't even know maybe why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is all part of the inverse of these energy of this new projects. In this space, we feel like we don't have any new ideas about how we should change our life. And Spirit says, if you find yourself in that place, simply ask for the clarity and know that it will come in perfect divine timing. It may not happen, 20 seconds later, or it may in that flash. But once we ask and truly believe that we will receive it, all we have to do is stay in a receptive place to the signs and symbols and synchronicities which present themselves. As well, the inverse here are negative consequences which stem from unwise decisions. There's also this frequency of severe illness, failure due to dishonesty, and obstacles which feel too big to overcome. So these are the frequencies we might be experiencing if we are not kind of holding ourselves in our weave, if we are not staying in that aligned energy that Spirit speaks to. And all of these are very easily fixable the moment we choose to change our perception. And the lyrics to kind of end this part of the reading were, where do we go from here? Something came in with the night. And what I got the feeling of from those lyrics was kind of when we get turned around in relationships and we don't even understand like what we're fighting about anymore or where the direction or where it came from. And so Spirit's saying like something came in with the night. Know that there is archonic interference afoot. And if we are kind of opening the windows or the doors or just even the little kitty door open, the doggy door open to it, the archons will come in the second that they have the opportunity. So we're really asked within relationships to review any assumptions that we've made, to develop our own consciousness and to rise to confront any contradictions that are coming up within ourselves, and to take care with harmony in our thoughts and actions so that we can be free from any unnecessary doubts or ambiguities. So once again, coming forth in our relationships with clear communication. Before I move into the next supporting energy, I will open up the floor. This next part of the reading for this revelation of 2023, this unearthing of all that wants to be seen, is that we are reconnecting with the source of the soul. The lyrics here were, like I said, darling, I don't want you looking back at the ghosts left behind. So once again, Spirit reminding us that the slate has been wiped clean. And we're encouraged to remember that when we find ourselves lost in perhaps the patterns of the past. This is the source of the soul. This is where bliss and inner wealth, true openness, harmony, and the opportunity to find happiness no matter what is happening externally around us resides. Professionally, Spirit wants us to know that this is an opportunity right now to find and really deepen into our true calling. We're encouraged to take meaningful actions toward this goal. And this really about having peaceful and a joyful attitude about how we are creating our income in the world, our job, true job satisfaction. So it's not necessarily about having the most important role necessarily as it is, or even the most money as it is really feeling peaceful and joyful and in love with what we are creating. And within our personal relationships, we're going to start to feel a deeper expansion of love than we ever thought possible. And Spirit says romance is in the air, and this is not just romantic partnerships, but the romance of like the sunlight dancing on our skin, or the warmth of the a pet companion. Not the necessarily the romance that the human always wants to jump to, where it's necessarily in a romantic partnership, although Spirit speaks to that as well. This is more the devotion to the romancing of ourselves with life, which can be done just as a single person. And it's coming from this place of deep affection from the source of the soul. The inverse of this is that we're withholding, that we're just not taking any, there's no undertakings in love. We've kind of pulled ourselves back, and there's an emotional decline or a lack of emotion, or even a psychosis. Spirit says this feeling of loss or parting, feeling empty, or having disbelief in ourself and our own strength. Once again, Spirit is reminding us that we do not have to dwell in that space, that when we simply ask to be removed from that space, we just have to trust that is a miracle of perception shift, that it doesn't necessarily mean our external world has to shift. It only means that we have to have that shift in perception, which will then, of course, through a domino effect, shift everything else, including the external world around us. Before I move into the next supporting energy, I will open the floor again. The sacred earth mother comes to remind us that our destiny awaits. This is a message of love, that we are finding the pathway through to our hearts and the heart of God. Who we truly are has nothing to do with our personality or our achievements, our successes, or our failures. In fact, Spirit says the you that you think you are is an actor playing a role that your soul has chosen. You are an eternal spark of pure creativity, unlimited potential that yearns to be expressed and fulfilled. And if you couldn't hear that, I never know how much the mic picks up of my cat trying to bang down the door. I will repeat it one more time. The you that you think you are is an actor playing a role that your soul has chosen, and you are an eternal spark of pure creativity, unlimited potential, which yearns to be expressed and fulfilled. Our potential is our destiny, and it awaits our call. And when I was writing this line down, it reminded me of, I was listening to someone in an interview last week. They said that their version of hell would be dying and meeting who they could have been here on earth. So not living up to their true potential. So here, Spirit encourages us to trust our hearts and to apply its love and wisdom to all that we are doing, that in this way, what we create will be a true expression of our soul, no matter what we are creating, even the most simplest of things, from making a cup of tea to getting the mail. It will all be this true expression of the soul. And it is through expressing this truth that we truly create things of lasting value, that which leaves a legacy. So, once again, we're encouraged to be true to you. And the lyrics to end this part of the reading: everything we need, love, I can feel it in my bones. So, once again, Spirit encouraging us that we have everything we need. We just kind of have to take the blinders off, the veils off, and truly see it. And once we see it, we will then feel it. Believe we have two more, looks like, for the evening. So I will open the floor once again. So the next part of the reading, we actually had from the fairy tales energy. Red Riding Hood and the wolf showed up, and it was this energy of the light at the end of the tunnel that we had to peer through the darkness to the light at the end of the tunnel. In fact, the lyrics here were cut deep and I'm still alive. I'll talk my shit till the day I die, because oh baby, I live, oh baby, I try. So, Spirit acknowledging that we've had to really walk through some of these deep shadows and they have cut deep. And yes, we're still alive, and hopefully we can still talk some shit. Hopefully we still have enough humor and good tidings within us to have that levity. And so, Spirit's reminding us we do not become enlightened by denying or repressing our shadow. We must look at it and we must understand it. And some of the shadow energies coming up with this were debauchery and exaggeration, stagnation, once again coming through, or having quarrels with friends, energies of uncertainty or an idle life, which is leading to collapse and loss, instability, infertility, unrequited love, falsehood, and lies, as well as inconsistency and treason. And this last one felt really specific to the collective, that we are going to see um, these falsehood and lies kind of, oh, I'm about to sneeze, maybe not, it's about to come out of my body, I don't know, these falsehood and lies being revealed, and the inconsistency and treason, which has kind of been, you know, the wizard behind the curtain, that is all about to drop and everything is about to be seen in the light of day. So as all of this is happening, it can feel very chaotic, especially within our own personal dynamics. And so Spirit once again encourages us, strive to see all relationships through the eyes of love and compassion, and to use our opportunities of these challenges to be open to happiness in a deeper, more expanded way. So this is not the happiness that we receive because we got something that we wanted. This is the happiness that pervades even the darkest of situations, even the deepest of grief that we might be experiencing, or the craziest of fear. That we are still able to tap into this source of the soul. And this last part here is Spirit reminding us to be open to people, to not necessarily shut people off or to label people just because we have, created an assumption or a perception of them or around them. And so to really, once again, strive to see all relationships through the eyes of love and compassion. Before I end for the evening, I will open the floor one last time. This last frequency is once again this reminder of our authenticity and our freedom, and this essence of authenticity and freedom being the most important thing right now. We're encouraged to be divested of all social constraints and cultural conformity, that this frequency holds up a mirror to our essential self, the true essence of who we are and who we are meant to become. It is the reminder of the bright light within each of us that gets dimmed by the restrictions that are imposed upon us by the expectations of society. And we are reminded that in order to be fully present to life, we must uncover that light and let it shine brightly, regardless of the perceived circumstances or even consequences. We are called to engage the world through our true selves. And this is also a symbol that our long held dreams are beginning to take root in the physical, and they wish and desire to be expressed. And we are reminded that our authentic selves do not fit into a box, that they need freedom to shine. So it is time to once again have courage and to step into the light. Spirit says, dance with abandon, be yourself, and let Great Spirit, Holy Spirit, decide what happens next. You will be happy that you did. And Spirit reminds us that when this energy shows up as a whole, this unearthing the couch cushions or finding out what's underneath, we are experiencing an initiation of some kind. And when we, quote, try to repress the beast within ourselves, we create an imbalance in the ecosystem, that repressing something does not make it go away. In fact, more often than not, Spirit says, embracing these aspects give us even more clarity, more power, and more strength. They truly do serve a higher purpose when brought out into the light of day. And we're encouraged to ask, what aspects of ourselves are we trying to hide, suppress, repress, deny, or avoid? That it's time to look at things that we are trying to hide, things that we fear about our own nature or about our worth. Are we afraid of not being perceived as nice, or being judged or criticized, or simply just not being good enough or even too much? The lyrics here: tell your secrets to the night. You do yours and I'll do mine. So we don't have to keep them all inside. So once again, this feeling of let it go, let it out, be who you are, tell your secrets to the night, find someone who you can confide in and who can confide in you. And if that is not possible, the journal is an amazing place to meet one's soul and to meet God. And so, in order to move successfully through this next gateway, we must become true to ourselves, and we must release any need for outside approval. We must look at ourselves honestly and without judgment. The last lyrics of the reading were, save yourself, oh darling, why don't you save yourself? And so, Spirit reminding us that we have everything that we need. We are always being guided, even when we feel like we are in the darkest of places. And as 2023 progresses and we are in this state of revelation where the collective is unearthing and searching for this greater truth, we are stepping forward into the light with these new projects that are sourced from the soul, that are coming from our most authentic, our truest and freest self. And because we are aligned with the Earth Mother, we can trust that we are in alignment with our true purpose, and that, as she says, our destiny awaits. So let it be said that this is the light at the end of the tunnel for anyone who has been waiting for that permission from Spirit to be revealed, and to trust that as these revelations are unearthed, that we will always be supported. So thank you everyone for being on the call tonight. I very much look forward to the after party where we get to talk about this even more deeply and in a much more fun way, and even draw on the pictures like we did before, or 2 weeks ago, I guess it was. So I appreciate you all so much for being here. And if you're listening in the replay, we feel you and we appreciate you as well. And we look forward to when we can meet again.